Greetings and salivations, everyone. I'm Krista, this is Fisher, and welcome to C-Rad. Today we're talking about 10 things that we learned during the Mandalorian Season 3 premiere, so stay tuned.
C-Rad.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. We hope everyone's doing totally rad today. It is so good to have The Mandalorian back on our screens. It has been a couple of years. And today we wanted to talk about 10 things that we learned from this premiere episode. But before we do that, I also want to add in that Jon Favreau said in an interview that Gurgu had been training with Luke for about 2 years. So if you missed the Book of Boba Fett, when the Mandalorian and Grogu reunited in that series, well, it had been about 2 years that they had been apart.
It's such a shame. Such a shame.
Yes, it is a shame, but they're back together, and we have them in The Mandalorian Season 3. So yeah, let's get into those 10 things that we learned. Number 1. How many Mandalorians does it take to kill a Godzilla-sized space crocodile? It starts out with a Mandalorian series where they are adopting the Mandalorian youngling into the clan, and it's interrupted when a Godzilla-sized space crocodile comes out of the water, and all of the Mandalorians that are there have to try to stop it and kill it. And they don't have much luck, do they, Fisher? No. But the answer to that question is, how many Mandalorians does it take? It takes one in a really cool, decked out N1 starfighter. Mando comes swooping in, shooting the space crocodile dead, and he pulls up and Grogu pops up, and what does Grogu do? Yep, Grogu just kind of pops up in waves, and that's how we start the premiere of The Mandalorian Season 3. Number 2, The Mandalorian is still obviously not forgiven by his clan. The armorer tells him, nope, I'm sorry, you're still not a Mandalorian, and the only way to do that and redeem yourself is to bathe in the waters under the mines on Mandalore, which, hey, don't exist anymore. But Mando throws a relic at her from the planet of Mandalore, says he got it from Jawas, who got it from somebody who did travel to the planet to retrieve that item. And he says, hey, if I can go in the living waters, hey, am I redeemed? You know, Creed says I'm redeemed if I go in those living waters. And the armorer, after looking at Grogu, giving her the cutest little puppy dog eyes, says, this is the way. So that sets up Mando's quest for the season, and they take off into space to see how they can reach the surface of Mandalore. Number 3. There's a secret passage in that N1 starfighter. We've always seen pictures of Mando up front, Grogu up in that little spot that was usually used for droids in the past that, you know, Mando had custom fitted for his little green friend. But with Mando asleep at the wheel and the N1 starfighter on autopilot, they're traveling through space. Grogu's looking out, seeing what he can see, and he sees what looks like, I thought were like these giant squid creatures, and he kind of looks like he gets a little scared. I thought PTSD from the squid on the face. Yeah, that could have been it, but I did find out after some research that they are called purgles, and they're like a space whale. More on those in the future, but that's where I'm gonna leave it at that for right now. But after Grogu looks like he's kind of disturbed, he crawls down from his little perch through a spot into the cockpit with Mando, where he cuddles up with him and they continue their journey, and that's when we find out they're going to Navarro. Number 4. Navarro and Greef Karga clean up nicely. Greef has turned Navarro into a pretty reputable trade planet, and we get to see how nicely it cleaned up. They're walking through the streets, they see the Kowakian monkeys up in the tree. Yes, if you remember them from Return of the Jedi, Salacious Crumb was that nasty little creature that sat with Jabba the Hutt in Return of the Jedi, and he had that laugh. Oh, that laugh. Apparently that laugh is a thing with those monkeys. And there's kids running around and playing. There's a statue of IG in the center courtyard because he is hailed a hero for what he did at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2. And Mando and Grogu are even looking at the statue, and Mando asks Grogu, "Do you remember your old friend?" And then Greef comes out down the steps, these two little droids carrying his cape. It is so super cute. And he's wearing a spectacular outfit, just perfect for the high magistrate of the planet. So Navarro's cleaning up pretty nicely. So Mando and Greef go to talk in his office, where Greef tries to convince Mando to stay on the planet and, settle down with his little one. Which brings us to number 5. Apparently 2 years of Force and Jedi training with Luke, Gurgu learned how to spin in a chair. I know, it was fun, and I did a Chip clip of Chip doing that about a year ago, a little less than a year, because Chip's not a year old yet, and it just, I like to think to myself, hey, maybe they saw the Chip clip and they're like, hey, let's throw something like that in the episode. Hey, a girl can dream, right? But it's so fun to watch Grogu spinning himself in the chair, and then when he gets hungry, he helps himself to a snack. But their little meeting is interrupted when Karga's droid comes in and says, hey, there's pirates in the courtyard, so they go down to see what's up with the pirates. So they have their little conversation. They do away with the pirates. Mando ends up shooting 4 of them, and Greef Karga lets the main pirate, Vane, go away. He says, well, yeah, he'll just warn the other pirates that Navarro is no place for the filth and scum and villainy of the pirate nature. And yeah, just bad feeling about that. Never let him get away, Greef. But he is saying to Mando, hey, I really would like you to stay because, we don't have a sheriff anymore. So that brings us to number 6. What happened to Cara Dune? Yes, Cara is gone, but they did not kill her off. They said that she went away after capturing Moff Gideon to work with special forces in the New Republic. So, and they also said Moff Gideon was in some kind of war tribunal somewhere. So they didn't kill her off. Chances of her coming back, very slim, unfortunately, but hoping we do get to see Moff Gideon this season. But Mando turns down Greef's offer to be the new sheriff on Navarro because he tells him, I'm on a quest, I'm an apostate, I need to redeem myself, and Greef says, okay, whatever you need, let me know, I'll help you. And that's where we learn number 7. IG is Mando's friend. He says he wants the IG-11 to help him. He is the only droid that he trusts. And unfortunately, he's not quite in working order. But Mando says, you know what, not all the parts are there, but let me give it a try. So they take him up into Greef's office. Mando does some things with the wire as Grogu looks on. And yes, we see the hand move, a la Terminator, and he wakes up and we're like, oh yay, IG's awake, but he has reverted back to his original programming, and yeah, all he can think of is terminate the asset, terminate, and he goes after Grogu, and there's a big scuffle, and Greef's droid actually drops a statue, a little bust of Greef, onto the head of IG, and yeah, that stops him from trying to kill Grogu. But Greef has a solution for that. There are Anzellans on Navarro, which are droidsmiths, and the most famous Anzellan that we know, Babu Frick, from the latest installment of Star Wars movies. So it's a bunch of these little guys, and they take them into their little tiny shop, which is the funniest thing. They're working on IG, and Mando's sitting in the shop, and you can tell he's kind of hunched over because he doesn't quite fit in there. And Grogu's in there, and they're looking on, and the Anzellans are like, no, cannot fix. He's broken. He's Pudu. They say his memory circuit is shot. And Mando says, can you fix it without the memory circuit? And they're like, well, and then Mando's like, well, what if I find a memory circuit? Will we be able to fix it then? And the Anzellan's like, yep. And next thing we know, Grogu is grabbing onto the Anzellan, and the Anzellan's, no squeeze, no squeezy, and Mando's telling him, no, Grogu, stop. So Grogu lets him go, and the Anzellan calls him Bad Baby. But we know Grogu's not a bad baby, and as Mando says, he's just a kid, he really doesn't know better. And then Grogu goes for the Anzellan again, and Mando's like, Grogu, no, stop, that's not cool, dude. So that brings us to number 8, which is Grogu no longer wants to eat cute little critters, he just wants to hug them. So Mando and Grogu head off into space in search of, his quest and the circuit memory chip. And it's one of the cutest scenes of the episode. Grogu and Mando are in the cockpit of the N1 starfighter, and he's showing him that, being a Mandalorian isn't just about fighting, but it's about how to navigate through space also. And as he's showing him things in the cockpit, a little red light goes off, and that is the enemy proximity warning. And yep, they got pirates on their tails, guys. Vane is back, and he's brought friends with him. And there's a little space chase and fight, which is pretty super cool. But in the end, as the N1 is chasing Vane's ship, Vane leads him right to the mother of all mother pirate ships, and he has a little conversation with the king of the pirates, who looks like a swamp creature / Jabba the Hutt a little bit. Yeah, and kind of reminds me of Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So this dude, he seems like a very bad dude. He looks like Sigmund the Sea Monster 50 years later. And he says to Mando, hey, we'll let you go if we can have your ship. And Mando's like, nope. Which brings us to number 9. Never, ever trust space pirates. Grief should have never let Vane go in the first place, but now, even though Mando escapes through space, I think we're gonna have some trouble with those guys in the future. But that brings us to number 10, the last thing that we learned in the premiere episode. Bo-Katan is in a funk, guys. They go to her planet of Kalamala, and she is sitting on the throne in what looks like a very empty castle. She tells Mando that after she lost the Darksaber, her troops just kind of dissolved, and everybody else is out on like some type of new mission, and she's all alone, sitting in what looks like a cold and dreary castle, and she does not look happy, guys. But Mando says he is going to Mandalore. She's like, yeah, good luck with that. It's not there anymore. And he says, yeah, I'm pretty sure, and we're gonna do it. And at the end, she says, goodbye, Din Djarin. So I'm pretty sure Bo's still holding a little bit of resentment against him for having the Darksaber, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some trouble with her. I'd love to see the two of them team up and be side by side, but she really wants that Darksaber, guys, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work out. But that's the premiere. Overall, it was an enjoyable episode. It was a lot of, not filler, I want to say, and not even really backstory, although there was a couple things that they said through it to kind of catch us up, but they didn't even really explain how Grogu and Mando got back together. All he really said was, I finished my quest, the kid came back to me. Yep, the kid came back. So again, if you haven't watched those last 3 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, catch up on those so you know what's going on in this season of The Mandalorian. But rating this first episode on our scale of totally bad to totally rad, I'm just gonna call it a rad, guys. It had some excitement, it had some really cute Grogu moments, but yeah, it wasn't totally rad. It did not totally blow me away. But doesn't mean I'm not happy that The Mandalorian is back. I am extremely happy. Fisher, are you happy?
I'm so happy!
Yep, we're excited, and we cannot wait to see what happens in the next 7 episodes of this series. So, Let us know if you liked this little recap. If you did, we'll keep doing them for you. If you're like, don't bother, let us know that too. We'll take any feedback in the comments below. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching this. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to keep seeing more and totally rad things in the future, please subscribe to our channel and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss seeing us. And I guess there's only one thing left to say, right, little dude?
We'll see ya later.
Bye, guys.
¡Ey! Esa todo. Tanga música, nada, no,